will continue Suratul Maryam. Here we'll continue with Suratul Maryam, and here Suratul Maryam, very beautiful surah. You will see Suratul Maryam here. Wordings will be hafiya, shaqiya. The endings will be that way, and surah starts with the huruf muqattat. Let's begin. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم الرحمن الرحيم كاها يا عين صاد ذكر رحمة ربك عبده زكريا إذ نادى ربه نداء خفيا قال رب إني وهن العظم مني واشتعل شيبا رأس شيبا ولم أكن بدعائك ربي شقيا سباحة يا عين صاد. These are huruf muqatta, and as I mentioned before also in different surahs, huruf muqatta, only Allah knows the of the huruf muqatta, and we don't know the meaning of huruf muqatta. Those are the disjoint letters, and some people they take out the meaning and they say this means that, this means that. We don't know. We can't say it means yeah. Some people they interpret different things, and some people keep in their homes and other places saying this brings good or this brings bad. Allah, but this is a thing mentioned here. So here we see talking about Suratul Maryam. Let's continue here. So here Suratul Maryam will see from ayah number 1 onwards. Kaha ya ain swad. The ayah number 2 is Zikru Rabbika Abdahu Zakaria. This is a mention of the mercy of your Lord, his servant Zakaria. Zakaria al-Islam has been mentioned here. And when he called to his Lord, a private supplication, in heart, quietly, secretly, he made dua. Why? Because the Lord hears all voices, hears out our heart, even when we do not utter the words or our feelings. Allah understands. He said, my Lord, indeed my bones have become weak. So here is nada rabbahu nida'an khafiya. Secretly he is calling and he says, Qala Rabbi inni wahana azmu min ishtara'ala asu shayba. Walam akum bidu'aika Rabbi shaqiya. Look at the way of making dua. They show how we should make dua. Also in the time of need, in the time of weakness, pain, hardship, worry, hurt, and narrate your sad story before who? Not before people, because what are people going to do? Allah already knows what we are going through. He's the one who decreed it. But when you pour out your feelings before Allah, when you talk to Him about what you're going through, it lightens your heart and it invites the mercy of Allah. It invites His mercy. He said, and what my head has filled with white, and never have I been in my supplication, the Lord unhappy. Look at how hopeful He is. So always, no matter how difficult the situation has become, always remain hopeful. Why? Because because the night is followed by the day. Yes. So every problem has end to it. So look at the words of it. Zakaria al-Islam, that walam akum biduaika rabbi shaqiya, that I have never paid. I have never thought that it's not possible. I have never given up on you, Allah. He is saying that walam akun biduaika rabbi shaqiya. Shaqiya is despairing. He said, I am not there with you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I haven't ever even gone that side. I trust you so much. I'm so confident in you. this is the thing we all should have. No matter what we are going through, doesn't matter, but we have to have complete trust and faith on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَإِنِّي خِفْتُ الْمَوَالِيَ مِنْ وَرَائِهِ, and indeed I fear the successor after me. The dua of Islam was basically for the children. He want to have children. Why is that so? He want to have children. He said that I fear the successor after me, which means that he did not want children for himself. Rather, he children for the spiritual instruction of his people, because he was worried about his people, that when I die, who is going to teach them? Who is going to lead them? Who is going to guide them? Who is going to inform them? He's not for airing the what the property who gonna have, not that thing. He want children for teaching them. And this tells us about the state of Bani Israel at that time. There was no one amongst them whom Zakaria al-Islam thought would be able to take this responsibility. Imagine, there were so many Muslims of that time, but Zakaria al-Islam didn't think that anyone would actually take that response seriously. So he wanted a child of his own home. He would teach and instruct, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would appoint him as the leader in order to guide people. And he said, and my wife has, so give me from yourself an heir. What is he saying basically? I do not know how, but I need an heir. I need a child. I don't know how, but I need you to do this for me. He's asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look at how he's expressing his weakness. You can express your weakness in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not in front of people. His inability, but he was so much trust, so much faith in the Allah. When a person makes dua like this, then what happens? His dua will be accepted. And here is the following: a child who will inherit me, inherit from the family of Yaqub. He was also be prophet from the Bani Israel. Wajahu Rabbi Radiya, and make him my Lord pleasing to you. So Allah make him pleasing. You see these words, Waja'alhu Radiya. You should make this dua for yourself also. Waja'ani Rabbi Radiya. That, oh my Lord, make me such that you are pleased with me. I become pleasing to you, because the one with whom Allah is happy, then that person is fine. So Zakaria al-Islam told, "O Zakaria, indeed we have given you good tidings of a boy. His name will be Yahya. We have not assigned name to anyone before." So here we see Allah is giving good news, not only good news, that is a good news of a boy, and also Allah gave him Yahya. And meaning Yahya was a unique and beautiful name. And he said, "Oh my Lord, how will I have a boy when my wife has been barren? I have reached extreme old age." He's in extreme old age. He is surprised himself, and many times it happened that you made dua for him. You want something to happen. It's a wish, and then when it is filled, you are like, how it's going to happen? You are surprised. You're yourself amazed that it actually happened. Like for you're talking to somebody about coffee at the masjid, and after iftar, and what happened? A friend of yours walks in with 3 coffees. You just had the desire, that wish, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fulfilled it immediately. Experience such thing, then when it happens, we are shocked, we are surprised. Who told you? How did you find out? And then when we say, I wish I asked for something better, I wish we had thought about something. So we see this natural. So Zakaria al-Islam is surprised that how can I have a child? And angel said, "Thus it will be. Your Lord says, it is easy for me. For I created before you while you were nothing." So Allah is saying, you remember you were nothing, and I created you. So this Allah's power. Whenever something is difficult, seemingly impossible, ask Allah that, yeah, I want to do this. I don't know how I'm going to do this. You make me do it. I'm so weak. I don't even know how to figure figure this out. You help me figure it out. You help me. So, and pray conviction and with yaqeen. Place all your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Believe me, Allah will answer it. Because Zakaria al-Islam, he placed his trust on Allah and Allah answered it. Zakaria al-Islam said, my Lord, make me for a sign. He has complete conviction, but he said, your sign is that you will not speak to the people for 3 nights being sound. Even though speak, but you won't be able to. You're going to be mute for 3 days. So he came out to his people from the prayer chamber and signaled to them, because now he can't speak. So he's signaling to the people, exalt Allah in the morning and afternoon. Look at this, Now he's quiet, he's mute, but he is praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala morning and evening. Just imagine you're getting something and what you're asking to in the old age, what are you going to do? You praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, isn't it? When he received the good news of a child, what is he doing? He busies himself in the remembrance of Allah morning and evening. The people to do the same thing also. And sabbihu bukratan wa ashiya. What does this teach us? That when we receive a blessing from Allah, then what we should do? Should we do as so? Yes, when morning and evening, every time you feel happy and it happens, when you have been waiting for somebody and it comes, you feel happy about it. So thank Allah. Praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is a hadith. Prophet said, there is none more superior in the sight of Allah than a believer who is given a long life in Islam and he spends it in Allah's. And tahleel, takbir, and tasbih. So he spent his long life saying, Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah. Tahleel, takbir, and Subhanallah, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah. Okay? Meaning he does a lot of zikr. Do you know any person who is old or retired or not productive as he used to be before because of their health condition, because of their age? Do you know anybody? Share this hadith with them. That when a person in old age also, when he engages in zikr of Allah, what his status, he is like the best person in the sight of Allah. At a long life of 80 years, 90, 100, don't know in that time what was the person doing, remembering Allah, glorifying Allah, because you see Allah when you have to do the zikr in the morning and evening. What does it mean? It's a part of your life. You're doing it all the time. Basically, I mean, there's the askar that you do before sunrise and then after all day long. You are trying to complete them, and the next thing you have to say your evening askar, which are to be said before sunset. And then when sunset have get busy with the nighttime askar. So it's like round the clock. You are remembering Allah, and for a believer, remembering Allah is not just limited for salah, but it's part of his life, out his life until the end of his life. And Ya Yahya, khuzil kitaba bi quwwatin wa ataynahu hukman sabiyya. Allah said, "O Yahya, take the scripture, determination, and we gave him judgment while yet a boy." Yahya was very wise boy, having decision power, knowledge, understanding, the ability to establish correct opinion. And like this from childhood, this was entirely a gift or who from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And wahnan min ladunna, so here an affection from us and purity, and he was fearing of Allah. Wahnan min ladunna wa zakatahum wa kana taqiyya. It's from taqwa. So here we see وَبَرٌّ بِوَالِدَيْهِ وَلَمْ يَكُنْ جَبَّارًا عَصِيًّا. A dutiful to his parents, he was very obedient towards his parents, and he was not a disobedient tyrant. Walam, he wasn't Jabbar or Asiya. These are the qualities of a child. Am I like those to my child, to my parents? Just think about yourself. Your akhlaq is good or not? First of all, there is a wisdom, and then soft-hearted, heart, softness, kindness, affectionate, purity, and this purity is in akhlaq, in character, in tongue, through thoughts. And then talking about taqwa, which means that a person will be good towards parent. That is what is mentioned. Barri wa bi waladi alidahi. To the two parents, he is good. You see, goodness towards parents has already been mentioned so many times in the Quran, which means that this is something that we do not have a choice about it. So by the end of this, what is the goal we should, when we are doing this surah and we are learning other surahs too, so we should from it being very good towards our parents. Walam yakun jabbarin asiya, he was not disobedient tyrant, he was not jabbar, he was not hard hearted or rough or rude or bad akhlaq, not like that. Okay? And peace be upon him the day he was born and the day he dies and the day he is raised alive. And mention, O Prophet, in the book the story of Maryam when she withdrew from her family towards the east. And now the Maryam al-Islam story starts from ayah number 16. This was when her mother decided to give a child for the service of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She intended before child was born. So what happened? Maryam, when she was born, she was taken to Baitul Muqaddas, and that is where she stayed in the private quarter, private chamber, dedicating her time entirely for the sake of Allah. She was stayed there, and she took in seclusion from them a screen. Then when we sent to her our angel, and he represented himself to her as well, proportionate man. So Allah sent angel here. Why a man? Because this is how Allah sent angels to the people to communicate with them. We learn about the story of three people from Bani Israel whom Allah tested, and he sent angels to the form of people. And Ibrahim al-Islam, Lut al-Islam, the angels came to them, the guest, how they were in the form of human beings. So to Maryam al-Islam also, angel came in the form of a being. But look at her reaction. She has so much haya, She said, indeed, I seek refuge in the most merciful from you. So leave me if you should be fearing the Allah. Because seeing the man, she was so scared. Haya, meaning go from here. If you have any fear of Allah, you see, she had never been in such close contact with the man that man enters her room. The only man that would come was who? Zakaria al-Islam, her relative and her teacher. And seeing a man in front of her in her room was something that was frightening for her. And as you can see here that she says, I seek refuge in the most merciful from you. Leave me if you should be fearing of Allah. And you see Maryam al-Islam, even though her parents were not there, her teacher was not there, how was her reaction? The reaction of a chaste, modest, responsible girl. Her statement is a testament to her chastity, to her fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because it is this times when people are alone, when a man and woman they are alone, there's third is shaitan. But here, how is she behaving? So sincerely, so chaste. So what is the reaction of Maryam Islam? I seek refuge in Allah against you. He said, I'm only the messenger of your king, don't fear. Now angel is saying, don't fear. I'm only an angel, give you the news of a pure boy. Just as Ibrahim Islam, when he saw the angel, he got scared. And Lut al-Islam said, I recognize you. He was also worried. He was apprehensive. And the angel said, don't worry, we are just messengers. So they said the same thing to Maryam al-Islam. So she said, how can I have while no man has touched me and I have not been unchaste? So he said, thus it will be your Lord says, it is easy for me, and will make him a sign to the people and a mercy from us. And it's a matter of and was an oblivion forgotten. Why is she saying? Firstly, she was worried, stressed, because the pains of the childbirth, they are understandable, very hard to bear, isn't it? So she is suffering from pain, so she is saying this. And moreover, she was worried about facing people back home, that I'm supposed to be a chaste and alone girl who lives in the temple worshipping Allah. And now, if I go back with the child, how would I face the world? Immediately, they are going to accuse me and they are going to raise a scandal against me. How I'm going to defend myself, how I'm going to establish my innocence. She's so concerned about it. It's a natural thing, But he called her from below her, and angels said, do not grieve, your Lord has provided beneath your stream, and shake to you the trunk of the palm tree, it will drop upon you ripe, fresh dates. See, she's there and she is getting the food also. So eat and drink and be content. Not only eating, drinking also. If you from among humanity, anyone say, indeed, I have vowed to the most merciful abstinence. So I will not speak today to anyone, any man. So she was instructed not to speak to anyone, and she will be quiet when people come and they ask you, they come and try to talk to you. There is no need to say anything. There is no need to say anything to anybody. And this is the best way of dealing with the false accusation. That when somebody is falsely accusing you, do not become defensive immediately. Calm down. Stay quiet, because a person who is making noise is not in a state to listen to you. They are going to listen to you. They are busy making noise. They are not even going to pay attention to what you are saying. If you try to speak, they will make more noise. So what's the best thing to do? Just be quiet over there. Adopt silence and wait for the time when I create circumstances in your defense. There's a hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, Man samata naja. Whoever is silent, he is from najat, he is saved. He is saved, because imagine if she is arguing over here, fighting back, do you think the people could become violent against her? Do you think that was possibility? Very easy. Unfortunately, this is something very common in people who are religious, that as soon as they see somebody whom they think has committed a sin, immediately they will become violent. Instead of working towards Islah, they become angry and violent. So Maryam is told to be silent, just be silent. And then she brought him to her people, carrying him. She said, as she expected, "Oh Maryam, you have certainly done a thing unprecedented. What a big sin. Where did you get this child?" Notice they don't even ask her, is this your child? They immediately come to the conclusion. They didn't ask, is this your child, or so on. She has committed zina and so on and so forth. They said, "O sister of Harun, your father is not a man of evil, nor was your mother unchaste." So she pointed to him because she was fasting. That time, fasting of being quiet. Imagine if we keep a fast like that, no talking, imagine. So she pointed to the baby. They said, how can we speak to one who is in the cradle, a child? And that boy, he speak. He said, I am the servant of Allah. Who is saying that? Yes, baby is saying that. Baby is saying he is the servant of Allah. He has given me the scripture and made me a prophet. This was the miracle, Allah has given that power so that he can talk. He was made me blessed wherever I has enjoyed upon me prayer and zakat as long as I remain alive. Baby is speaking in the cradle and he and made me dutiful to my mother, and he has not made me a wretched tyrant. And giving that thing also, he's saying I'm very dutiful to my mother. And peace on me the day I born and the day I will die and the day I am raised alive. The day he was born and he gonna die and he will be raised again alive. This is Isa al-Islam, the son of Maryam al-Islam. Whenever Isa is addressed, he is called Ibn Maryam. The word of truth about which they are in dispute. It's not befitting for Allah to take a son. Exalted is he. When he decrees an affair, only says kun fayakun, and it will happen. Indeed, Allah is my Lord, your Lord, so worship him. This is a straight path. Now, these verses, this entire incident teaches us two main lessons. First of all, Maryam al-Islam was a pure woman. She was chaste, she was modest, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put her in a great test. She passed. When we see that when she was put in a test, she didn't complain or get upset that, oh Allah, why me, or why like this, how come I was not asked about it, what if I don't want to. No, she accepted. Okay, and once she accepted, then what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also helped her. You see, we all are servants of Allah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses his servants for the various purposes. So remember, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala imposes some test on us, difficulty on us, don't begin to pity yourself. Because yes, it is hard. It is hard though, but inshallah, through us, hopefully some good will come about. You see, many times it happens that a woman, for example, she got divorced and she wonders why this happened to me, and she is very upset about it. She's mentally exhausted or emotionally drained. She feels terrible about herself. But when eventually she accepts, yes, this becomes a source of strength for her and for the others. So whenever something you are going through in your life, accept it. And the other thing we learned, she was instructed not to and to be quiet, and baby gonna speak, and baby spoke it in the cradle, and that was the miracle from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Remember, like Aisha Razalana also, she was falsely accused, and what happened? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the ayat in the Quran proving her innocence. So leave the matter to Allah. He put you in that test. He will make you go through it, and He will get you out of it. You will be fine, inshallah. But that moment of time, you have to have the sabr. And how the baby spoke and how the things happened. But she has gone through a lot. So we learn a lot of lessons. And ayah number 37, then the factions differed concerning Isa from among them. So woe to those who disbelieve from the scene of a tremendous day. How clearly they will hear and see the day them to us, but the wrongdoers today are in clear error. وَأَنذِرْهُمْ يَوْمَ الْحَسْرَةِ, and warn them on the day of regret. So what is the day? The day of judgment. Why? Because the people will regret about their falling short in Allah's sight, how they did not fulfill their duty to Allah. And here we need to think, how do I pray? When I'm standing in Qiyam, where is my mind? And by the time I get to the ruku, then where is my mind? When you're doing pray, when you stand for the salah, be connected with Allah. Don't get involved in this or that, completely. And when the matter will be concluded, especially people will express regret when the matter will be concluded, meaning when death will approach. And yet they are in the state of heedlessness as they go about their lives without even remembering, and they do not believe. It's a hadith. Prophet ﷺ said, no people sit in a gathering without remembering Allah, except that it will be a cause of regret for them on the day of judgment. And no person walks a path without remembering Allah, except that this will be a cause of regret for him on the day of judgment. And no person lies down on his bed without remembering Allah, except that it will be a cause of regret for him on the day of judgment. So anything, if we want to be beneficial for us, what we need to do, remember Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, while we engage in that, that is why Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam encouraged to say Bismillah on receiving a blessing, Alhamdulillah, and all the time we are receiving blessings. And here on ayah number, we'll stop and we'll continue in the next session, inshallah. إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَرِثُ الْأَرْضَ وَمَنْ عَلَيْهَا وَإِلَيْنَا يُرْجَعُونَ. Indeed, it is He, we who will inherit earth and whoever is on it, and to us will be returned. So everybody has to return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The next week we will continue, inshallah. Jazakallah. Part 1. Here we can continue Surah from ayah number 75 to 9 and Surah ayah number 1 to 4. Let's continue. Their concern is, oh, my social status should be the highest and I should be the richest in the term, I should be the best, and for that they sacrifice the deen also. Some people, I'm not talking about everyone. Allah says, look at the people of the past. Were there people who are more powerful than you? Yes, they are more powerful. Were there people who are richer than you, stronger than you, more able than you, who did more than you? Yes, what happened to them? They finished. You too will go. So don't be deceived by their life, Because the former generation, they were completely vanished. They were completely uprooted. So Allah can do anything. So remember that we have to take lesson from the previous generations. Ayah number 75 say, whoever is in error, let the most merciful extend for him an extension in wealth and time, until when they see which they were promised, either punishment in this world, the hour of resurrection. They will come to know who is worst in the position and weaker in the soldiers. This is very important because people think, excuse me, that they won't be punished in this world. They will be punished in this world too. Have you seen Pharaoh? How he was drawn in the sea? So meaning the day of judgment will tell you what your true worth is, what's your true status is. Ayah number 76, and Allah increase those who were guided in the guide, enduring good deeds are better to your Lord for reward and better for the rewards. So we should be desirous for good deeds, not worldly things. Okay. Then have you seen who disbelieved in our verses and said, I will surely be given wealth and children in the next life. Because many people I have seen, because they are given in this world, they feel very boastful and proud. Arrogantly, they will say, oh, we'll get in the next life too. If somebody is lacking, they start criticizing and they start giving some kind of statements that will hurt, and they started, I don't know, very negative kind of criticism. Ayah number 78. Have you looked into the unseen, or has he taken from the most merciful a promise? Allah is saying that. No, we will record what he says and extend for a punishment extensively, and we will inherit him in what he mentions, and he will come to us alone. Ayah number 80. Remember, no matter what we are in possession of, everything we have will remain. And when we go to Allah, how do we go? Alone, empty handed. So fix your relationship with Allah, fix your relationship with Allah right here, right in this world. And they have taken, besides false deity, means they are doing shirk, that they would be for them a source of honor. It's not. No, those gods will deny their worship of them and will be against them opponents on the day of judgment. Do you not see that we have seen the devil upon, we have sent the devils upon the disbelievers in inciting them to evil with constant incitement. Have you seen the people, they are misguided and they are prolonged in the misguided. Why? Because inciting them to evil with the constant incitement. Ayah number 84. So be not impatient over them. Be only to them a limited number. On the day we will gather the righteous to the most merciful as a delegation. Ayah number 85. يوم نحشر المتقين إلى الرحمن وفدا. So here on the day of judgment, righteous will be taken to Allah as a noble, respected VIP delegations, taken to the Lord of the worlds. Why? To see him, talk to him. But this is for who? Those who fear Allah. See, muttaqina ila rahman, and will drive the criminals to hell in the thirst. From ayah number 86 also, none will have power of intercession except he who had taken from the most merciful a covenant. And they say the most merciful has taken for himself a sin. And again they are doing shirk. Allah says, you have done an atrocious thing. Allah don't like shirk is zulmun azim. Ayah number 90, the heavens almost rupture therefrom, and the earth splits open, and the mountains collapse in desolation. That they attribute to the most merciful a son, Allah don't like it. And it's not appropriate for the most merciful that he should take a son. Why? Because there is no one in the heaven and the earth but that he will come to the most merciful as a servant. He is king and everything is a servant to him. So how can a servant be a child? No. Ayah number 94, he has enumerated them and counted them a full counting. وَكُلُّهُمْ آيَاتِهِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ فَرْدًا. And all of them are coming to him on the day of resurrection alone, fard, alone. This is so frightening. This is something that we should truly be afraid of. Have you ever had to go somewhere alone that you are told you can only come alone? Your family cannot come with you. Maybe for some test that perhaps you have to write an exam, or perhaps your blood has to be taken, or something like that has to be done. How you feel? You don't want to go alone, right? You feel scared. Imagine وَكُلُّهُمْ آيَاتِهِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ فَرْدًا. Every single one of us will go Allah alone, no friend, no parents, and before that in grave also, how we are going all alone. Ayah number 96. Innal ladhina amanu wa amilu salihat. Indeed, those who have believed and done righteous deeds. Sayaj'al lahumur rahmanu wudda. The most merciful will appoint for them affection. He will create love for them. He will give them friends. Today, because of these, what happens? A person suffers from loneliness. That person finds that they don't have many friends, because in order to have friends, you have to be, yes, very social. You have to spend time, and then you find yourself too busy, or you find yourself busy trying to pursue a particular goal, and for that you find yourself alone a lot, or you live in a place where there's hardly anybody who thinks the way you do, who has some goal as you do. So begin to feel lonely. But what happens? Allah says that He will change this, and it happened in the life of Prophet ﷺ also, that the people who hated him the most turned to become the people who loved him the most. There was a man who was brought in a prisoner in Medina because he had always been very violent against the Muslims. So anyway, this man, he was brought it, and Prophet ﷺ had him imprisoned in the masjid. So he was tied in the masjid, and he was given the best food. The food of the Prophet ﷺ was sent to him. And eventually, after 3 days, that man was let go of. He was freed. And he went, he freshened up, and he came back to Prophet ﷺ. Then he said, Shahada. He said, by Allah, there was no person whom I hated the most as much as I hated you. To whom he is saying? To Prophet ﷺ. And now there is no person whom I love the way I love you. So you are the most beloved person to me. So you see, hatred was converted into love. Who can do that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But what do? We chase people. Oh, please love me. Please like me. Please be my friend. This is not how we get love. No, we get love through who? Through Allah. Love Him. Love Allah alone. And do the itaat and ittiba sunnah. And Allah will create love in the people's heart. فَإِنَّمَا يَسَّرْنَاهُ بِلِسَانِكَ. So we have only made one easy in the Arabic language that you may give me recollected what forces they had. What are they now? Buried. They are in mud. On the day of judgment, they will be alone. And this is the reality that we need to remember, that no matter what we have in this life, it will finish. What matter is my relationship with the Rabb who created me, because I have to face Him alone. So if I strive to make Allah happy, to earn His approval,